Hello, welcome to another cast I'm going to be doing. Starting off for blue team, we have Fitzwilli playing as the Warlock, we have Red-Rupee playing as a Techmarine in mid, and we have for Bloody 9 playing as a Force Commander on the right hand side of the map. On the opposite team we have Torencha playing as the Sorcerer, we have Tex mid playing as the Warboss, and we have Morgan MLGman, also known as Adeptus Nubis, playing as the Mekboy. So starting off we have Fitzwilli on the left hand side going for a triple Dire Avenger build, a lot of range damage coming in from this build. Just having 3 range squads very early on allows you to kite melee squads as well. What melee squad can't tie up all 4 units at once, so you can actually kite around quite a bit. And we see Red-Rupee going for double scouts, Bloody 9 only going for a single scouts, but we have the first engagement on the way though. However, we have the Warboss tying up these tactical marines or going after these scouts, even while the Force Commander does the same thing over to these sluggers. Force Commander's actually gaining a lot of damage already coming in. These sluggers are trying to tie him up as well. The Battlecry did knock him away in the first salvo, but he will still get forced away here. Could actually go down. Warboss doesn't look like he's going to focus him down. Warboss does need to get out as well. Sluggers will also need to get out these triple shooters, in fact quadruple shooters coming in now. Still some sluggers on the field. The Mekboy is also here as well, trying to melee these tactical marines as well to tie them up over there, trying to run away from him. So he's just going to end up shooting them in the back. We do see one model actually going down very quickly there for a tactical marine squad. It's very rare that you see a model go down so quickly there. And the shooters are already coming in for a very early power bash onto this node, taking quite a bit of damage as well. The scouts and tactical marines are trying to come in to do what they can against this, and you have the Mekboy teleporting again in aggressively here to actually tie up these tactical marines in melee. We do have some other tactical marines on the left hand side which are actually going to force away those shooter boys, and a full generator farm has been placed down. The power node is actually going to live. Mekboy quite low, will need to teleport away from there, and does, and gets out of there. Meanwhile on the left hand side we do see that Torencha's heretics taking a lot of damage from that destructor, bring them down from full health down to 1/3 of a health. And we do see the immolator on the way as well to set these heretics on fire. The sorcerer teleports in, consumes the heretic. Well, it looked like he consumed the heretic, and then he's now going after this requisition point. Warlock will knock him off it, although he's still actually capping. And we'll have the sorcerer fighting the Warlock, although the Warlock will win this with the immolator doing so much damage in the early game. Techmarine coming in here now for Red-Rupee. You see some sluggers running away up here with only 2 models, very low health. Warboss is also here trying to do what he can with his boss pole, so we will see the health boost as well for all these units. Can see all these orange circles going around. Top of that health boost does grant extra courage as well. And 50% less suppression, 20% increased health, and the Warboss as well gains 10% extra health. A very nice war gear overall, very good in 3v3 because it does affect your teammates as well. No matter what race they are playing, it will work for everyone. So you can see some tactical marines on almost 2000 health as well in some instances if they are level 4, if they got sergeant. Makes everything very tanky with that extra health. Do see some big shooters. We even see the death gun as well coming in here for Morgan MLGman. We also see the battery pack to give units a health to heal friendly units like the APO. You have a taste ability, very useful in sluggers when they're trying to close the melee. They do take quite a lot of damage trying to get into melee range, and you can just heal them back up so they're at full health when they jump into that fight. We do see some Devastators here, but again they're flanked. They're coming around behind these boxes and barrels here, and the units are kind of now split up into 2. Devastators are going to reset up. The Mekboy is nowhere to be found, so there's nothing to interrupt this Devastator squad right now. And you see these double shooters going back behind these boxes. In fact, ASM going to jump in, and the engagement is going to begin. We do see the Mekboy setting up his death gun there, will fire away onto that Techmarine there. We do see the ASM still in this fight, still full health. The sluggers aren't close to the ASMs right now. They're in fact actually building war banners, both of them. ASM's very boldly jumping in onto these double sluggers, along with the Warboss here, who's also got the Bang Bang Hammer as well. And ASMs will need to get out there. Do lose one model, probably will lose a second one I'd imagine, to these sluggers they're chasing. They want that next model, so if they're not going to get that next model, Force Commander coming in with his battle cry will actually get away with that one swing, actually knocking the sluggers back. It looks like it actually saved him as well. Looks like the Warband's going to be the next target. Do some flamers as well on Red-Rupee's tactical marine, so one Warbander gets burnt down there very quickly. Only left now with one Warbanner. It's going to be the War Banner of Morgan MLGman, although it should affect all friendly units, or all friendly orcs even. We do see the Looters saying up here, going to get taken, or going to get forced away by these Devastators. Techmarine very low here for Rupee. We need to be careful with that. We do have some scouts over here by the Bloody Nine, going for some capping onto that contested power. We do see the Warlock as well going in for that requisition point. He really enjoys going for that requisition point. We do see some Raptors as well for Torencha. Techmarine on 50 health, very boldly just walking here, not in cover. I feel like these shooters could turn around and maybe get a single salvo on him. He will go down. Mekboy trying to do what he can to finish him off. Techmarine will need to get out of there with 20 HP, gets out of there just fine. Does have the Artificer's armor, so does have some decent health regen as well. Do you see a little bit of the army here for the Bloody Nine coming in from around the side. Meanwhile, Red-Rupee's got the majority of his army here, the double Devastators as well. Looters trying to come back in here for Tex. Tactical Marines taking quite a lot of damage, getting suppressed. Do you see Tex coming in with his Warboss and Sluggers, Morgan MLGman coming in here with his shooters, only to get suppressed here. These Sluggers though have got a decent flank, and this other Devastator squad should get interrupted. Warboss is going to interrupt him himself. And we do see that Mekboy is resetting up again, probably will teleport forward as well. In a second, I'd imagine we do have some Sluggers with hardboys used onto them. ASMs have jumped into this fight. Sluggers are very low, we'll need to get away. We do actually have the Mekboy teleporting forward, so we do see the suppression onto the ASMs. They will jump away though from it, going after this Warboss who's got the Bang Bang Hammer, doing 75 melee DPS. It's quite a lot of damage in very early game, like tier 1. So they will need to be careful of that. Warboss does retreat away. Force Commander quite low himself, no upgrades on him yet, but he is level 2. ASM's also going to be backing away from the fight. This Orc blob is just a bit too much right now, especially with the boss pole, where the Warboss is retreating away, so that boss pole advantage isn't going to last for much longer. Have a Destructor going down. The ECSM taking quite a bit of damage, trying to get into the face of these Dire Avengers now. They will leave, and we do see a Grenade Barrage coming in, should land onto these Dire Avengers, very nicely done. Raptors do take a generator in the meantime as well. Do you see the Raptors actually going after these Dire Avengers now? Do you see the double, or this Dire Avenger squad anyway, has the aspect of the Avenger for the plasma grenades. Meanwhile, the other one is unupgraded right now. Does also have the Exarch as well to lead them. Raptors do get knocked away. Raptors should leave this fight. They are taking quite a bit of damage, and I think that they need to leave before they lose any more. We do actually have a generator farm over here for Fitzwilli as well. One generator will go down, however. We do have a webway gate trying to get built here in the face of Red Team, and I think they should notice this and should be able to take it down before anything actually comes out of that gate. You do see Tex has alerted Morgan MLGman that there is a gate here and that he will take it down himself. So we do see that everyone is going to be tier 2 in a second. We do see Fitzwilli, the Bloody Nine, and Torencha, not Torencha, Morgan MLGman were already tier 2, and the rest of them have all followed up now. Do see that Plasma Dev is going to be the first choice for Blue Team, and a War Truck and Tank Buster is going to be the first choice for Red Team. Do you see the Mekboy getting sniped there by the Mastercrafted Bolter there of that Techmarine? The high powered shot will be enough to finish him off with the sniper damage that it deals. Do you see that Tactical Marines here getting quite low, taking quite a bit of damage from these shooters with the large shooters. We do see a bit of a bloodbath over here, a lot of red popping up, and we do see that the Chaos Sorcerer does need to leave the area. Doesn't look like he actually lost any units, but did lose quite a few models, however. Do you see the Force Commander has actually gone for the Sacred Standard as well, granting everyone a 25% boost in damage. If the Force Commander does die, then he'll get a 40% boost in damage, meaning that killing him can also help the enemy team. You have some Stick Bombers coming out as well, and Stick Bombers instead of Tank Busters. I actually got that mixed up earlier. Do you see these ASMs taking quite a bit of damage? You see the Merciless Strike though onto the Stick Bombers. In fact, the Sergeant is the first one to go down. ASMs could go down altogether. They do lose 3 models there, including the Sergeant, but it looks like they will get out there alive. Do you see Librarian with the Force Staff as his first upgrade as well? Doing quite a lot of damage, 70 power melee damage I believe it is, or 71 even. Even does some alright range damage as well. Do you see the Force Barrier going off here where the shooter boys are running away from it, so wonder if they will get hit. Do you see the War Truck over here? Does even have the reinforced plating for an extra 200 health. We do see a mine going down as well from the Techmarine. It's unfinished however, and the War Truck will actually poke it down. Do you see the user choppers as well? onto these sluggers with a knob as well. Look at the damage that they're doing. Devastators will only get away with one model, and they just jump back into the truck. There is a missile launcher as well onto these tactical marines, so sluggers are actually going to re-exit the vehicle and go after these other devastators as well, and then going to go after the tactical marines. P-Dev sets up on the field, although they can get flanked as well by the war truck, in fact. So you see a Dreadnought nearly taking out those sluggers. The knob and two models will get away. P-Dev is going to take a shot, will hit nothing. However, we do see Stick Bomb is actually going to throw it onto them and brings them down very low, 100 health remaining, but no models were actually taking the Weird Boy, and Stick Bombs are going to retreat away here for Morgan MLGman. We have the Power Claw, however, on the Warboss as well, but this Dreadnought still has some melee resistance. It still is in its melee form, it is not a ranged Dreadnought. So Warboss will struggle to fight the Dreadnought straight up in melee, but should be able to do a pretty decent amount of damage onto it, although Techmarine does have quite a few resources to repair, and he can repair himself and can also use the Blessing of the Omnissiah as well to repair. Do you see the use for the Emperor as well, used onto these tactical marines with the Sergeant here as well. Meanwhile, onto the other side, you have a Wraith Lord coming in here for Fitzwilli with a Shuriken Cannon as well. Going to be doing a lot of damage to these tactical marines or any kind of infantry that Torencha is able to put out onto the field right now. VPs 299 to 347 so far, a very close game. You do see Fitzwilli's actually going to go tier 3, meanwhile the Bloody 9 and Torencha both getting Dreadnoughts at the same time. Already have a Dreadnought on the field, however, for Red-Rupee. Plenty of walkers this game. Some missile attacks here for Red-Rupee, trying to assist and taking down that Sorcerer. Sorcerer will get away though for the most part, unless the Dreadnought can come in here. Dreadnought picks him up, however, and we do see crush him in the air and just tosses him aside. Very nicely done. Do you see that the contested VP on the left hand side belonging to red team line them to catch up in VPs as they are slightly behind. Meanwhile, we see the double Orc armies kind of both mustering together into the mid. Do you see that they're in control of that contested requisition point? Weird Boy going to get shot onto that Dreadnought. Currently getting repaired, however, by that Techmarine. P-Dev's going to fire a shot, going to land on those Stick Bombers, take one model loss there, and quite a bit of damage as well. Beamy Looters coming in now. Beamy Looters do a lot of damage. You always need to be careful of the vehicles when they're on the field. They don't slow, but they do have the highest damage, however, in terms of AV. You do see some Stick Bombs landing onto those P-Devs, actually uninterrupting them. And you see the double shooters coming in as well, doing quite a lot of damage to these tactical marines. They are getting suppressed, however, by these Devastators, although with that boss power it does reduce the effectiveness of suppression against them. But they still do need to be careful when walking up to suppression like that. P-Dev's trying to take another shot, lands onto the Warboss. Warboss himself very low. You see that the Sorcerer is back up in the action now, but he's taking quite a bit of damage from that Wraith Lord. Will try and get out there, does actually get out there. Do have a Marcus Zenith Dreadnought as well, coming in for Torencha, a very nice counter to that Wraith Lord with the Shuriken Cannon. And looks like it should go down here, even though it's trying to get repaired up by those Dire Avengers. It's not going to be enough. In fact, the Warlock will be the next target. The Dreadnought should be able to pick him up, and he just pokes him there and takes him down. And this should be a fight here, one for Torencha. That Dreadnought has no counter right now until Fitzwilli can actually get out that D-Cannon. Even then, the D-Cannon is not the optimal choice against a... It's not going to do as much to a Walker as, say, a Bright Lance Weapons team. Do you see that Tex has actually come in and destroyed this power farm here for blue team. While this was all going on, the Slugger's still going around in this war truck, actually coming in for some Devastators and these missile attacks right now. But the Dreadnought is still on the field. There was also some shotgun scouts as well, so we could see a shotgun blast. We do see the Slugs just pack straight back up into that truck, and they want to get out of that area as quickly as possible, just in case anything goes down. Any shotgun blast knocking those Sluggers will prevent them from actually getting into the truck, maybe. You see some nice dark flames as well. Used onto these double Dire Avengers, going to force them off completely. D-Cannon out on the field. It will do some damage to the Dreadnought, but it's not a... it can be like avoided. You can walk past the area effect as well from the amount of damage it does, if I've made sense of that. You see some missile launch attacks still going around. These Sluggers will need to retreat away. The war truck was destroyed as well. You see the Dreadnought coming in here now for the Bloody 9. Beamy Looters are here. We have two Weird Boys as well, so we could see them actually do quite a bit of damage to this Dreadnought. You see the Warp Vomit getting used there. Double Warp Vomit, in fact. Being used onto 2 different areas. These ASMs had no chance of escaping it along the Librarian there. Do you see the 4-staff actually activated? Look at this Orc army just getting pushed aside. Do you see some stun bombs as well coming in? However, one Weird Boy will go down. Librarian still stunned. Dreadnought's coming in here. Will takes down quite a few models on the tree. ASM is quite low, however. We'll jump onto these double shooters to actually interrupt them. Tactical Marines coming in. Do you see the Warboss trying to go after that Librarian, although he's going to be taking way too much damage here. These double Dreadnoughts and Librarian are going to be doing so much damage to him. We do see that both the Dreadnoughts and both the Space Marine armies are actually going to keep on pushing further forward. And we do see some Sluggers coming in and some Stick Bombers, although they don't really have an answer right now for this Dreadnought. The Beanie Looters are actually dead. I cannot see them in the team's roster there, in the bottom right. But we do have some Tank Busters coming out now, and we do have a Looter Tank as well on the way. Both very solid counters, 2 Dreadnoughts. Looter Tank, especially against these melee Dreadnoughts, should be able to just kite them around for days. We have some missile launch attacks still in the field though, trying to do what he can against this Chaos Dreadnought. We'll actually get warped out, except for he gets warped out next to another Dreadnought. This is a melee Dreadnought as well, so he'll just be able to tie up this Mark of Zinc Dreadnought as well. And there's some other units coming in here as well, Librarians, some Stern Guards as well. This Dreadnought should go down, will go down to a Fire Prism in fact, actually, from Fitzwilli. Quite low actually, it was on the half health, 245, does need to get repaired up by these double Dire Avengers. Torencha just down to Heretics and CSM, is tier 3 however. Do see a Looter Tank as well on the way for Tex, and here is the Looter Tank here for Morgan MLGman. Do see that boss pole affecting the entire army as well, where Waygate will go down. Do have Devastators still set up in mid. We have ASMs on the way, still no Sergeant on these ASMs. They did lose their Sergeant much earlier, and taking quite a lot of damage here. The Weird Boy is still in the field for Tex, will knock him down. Do see the Zap ability actually getting used onto them as well. Devastators will get interrupted. Some Shotgun Scouts coming in still. Do see the Librarian trying to smite that Orc army, not doing too much. The boss pole giving all the units a massive health buff as well, meaning that they can take a lot more damage than what they normally would be able to. We do have some Shotgun Scouts actually trying to go after these Sluggers, and it looked like it kind of bugged out there where they couldn't get into range, so they kept on like moving forward and stopping, moving forward and stopping. It's a very annoying thing that happens when trying to use them. We do have this Force Command, still the Sacred Stand, there's still no other war gear other than that. But if he does go down, then it will give Rupee's army that 40% damage boost instead. Now the Dreadnought's in a bit of trouble here. He's stunned by these stun bombs from the Stick Bombers. And there are 2 Looter Tanks chasing after it right now. One is kind of reversing its way there. But this Dreadnought, it should go down. The Looter Tank should be able to chase it down, however. Although it's getting quite close, or into dangerous territory where the Looter Tanks maybe don't want to go just in case there's any surprises there. They can't chase and be completely unsupported. I do have P-Devs actually set up over onto this contested VP side. I'm going to make it very difficult for Torencha to actually push forward with P-Devs here behind a shield. In fact, the Dreadnought's actually sitting behind this burnt tank here. And we do actually have a Land Raider Redeemer coming in for Red-Rupee, this Looter tank. Got a bit too close to it and we'll try and drive away with the double Looter tanks. So they keep their distance, then the AV weapon that this Land Raider Redeemer has will actually be able to fire at them. Fire Prism still set up here. Double Fire Prism in fact actually for Fitzwilli. One is unleveled, one is almost level 2 as well. P-Dev's going to take a very nice shot onto the CSM. CSM and Heretics will get forced away there. We do have the Beanie Death Gun as well onto the Mekboy as well. Going to do quite a lot of damage, although he's taking quite a bit from these Terminators here from the Bloody 9. We do have Vanguards coming in now for the Bloody 9, these ASMs. I think they're only level 2, so it was worth upgrading to Vanguards. This Dreadnought looks like it's going to be sacrificed at this point, but no, it actually drives it away. Looks like it was just getting used to scout ahead instead. We do have Stern Guard Veterans here for the Bloody 9, but they're very low. In fact, only on 1 model. Maybe they should go to Land Raider Redeemer and actually get back up to full models. Do see them actually retreating away now. I think he just realised how low they actually were. We do have a commander over here, so in fact it's the Warlock. I'm not sure what he's doing over there, but he has actually been spotted, however, by Tex, who sent his Warboss over there along with his Sluggers. So the Warboss actually could take him out along to help these Sluggers. taking quite a bit of damage there. And this Warlock was a bit deep. Yep, and he will go down to a looted tank there in the end. That Land Raider Redeemer actually trying to get near to his body. It looks like they want to try and get a res onto him, or they want to get the Land Raider near the contested VP and have a fight over there. Do actually have a Land Raider Warboss coming out for Torencha as well. These double fire prisms do need to be careful. This one fire prism is taking quite a bit of damage in one hit. But triple fire prisms as well. And this Warboss is a very nice choice against triple vehicle. If it can get in range, it should actually be able to do quite a bit of job, but it's actually taking quite a lot of damage, and it's now trying to back away, but will get warped out just in time. Took an insane amount of damage from these triple fire prisms, trying to kite it around, and nearly actually killed 2 of the fire prisms itself as well. We've got Vanguard's fighting knobs here. The Dreadnought for Bloody Knight looks like it's turned into an assault cannon Dreadnought now. I do see a weird boy actually taking away a knob model by the looks of it. These Vanguard Baron's quite low, could go down or could take a model loss at the very least. Looks like they won't actually, they will get away. They have Terminators trying to chase this looted tank is a bit of a mistake. I don't know if they've got the teleport available. We actually have 4 looted tanks in total now for the Orc army, 2 from Morgan MLGman and 2 from Tex. These looted tanks are going to be difficult, and Terminators will actually go down. Looks like they got a bit too greedy for that looted tank, and the sluggers with the slugger knob doing so much power melee damage, it's going to be an easy target for them, plus the looted tank just kiting around. The slugger knob himself does do about 70 power melee damage, along with 2 of the models doing 25 power melee damage, and then the rest just doing regular melee. Do you see the Warboss actually just pick up a tactical marine there with that power claw doing so much damage? Shotgun blast coming in. Warboss is level 3, but he is on 2,100 health. He does have that heavy armor. Devastator's getting knocked away. These double looted tanks coming in here will take a little bit of damage from these missile launch attacks. In fact, Scouts trying to melee the Warboss. It's a bit of a mistake from them. Do you see the units retreating away to that Land Raider Redeemer? Loot tank coming in from the flanks as well. This Dreadnought is most likely going to go down. There's no way it's going to escape the wrath of 4 tanks. In fact, all these tanks could probably chase even further forward and go after the Land Raider Redeemer, since it's not really a decent AV. Could have a massive tank fight actually against all the fire prisms on the field. In fact, the fire prisms look like they're trying to move forward. They're trying to go after this looted tank. Ooh, this is very low, 50 HP. Will go down though. Tex will lose one of these tanks to Fitzwilli. These fire prisms have very nice range. They're built like glass, but the amount of range and damage that they do makes up for that. You see this assault cannon Dreadnought going to force away these short boys along with the help of some shotgun scouts. Have Tex saying we are the FPS, I have a suicide squad ready. I'm not sure what he means there. We do have the Land Raider Warboss here. We do see a Mark of Zinc Predator just went down there. So many vehicles on the map. An Eldritch on top of this would be brutal, but Red Team don't have an Eldritch available since they have no Eldar on their team, but the stun from an Eldritch against vehicles would be quite strong. But the Warboss will go down. These triple fire prisms just dealing so much damage right now. You see that one of them's level 2 and the other 2 are coming close to level 2 as well. Maybe we'll see a Rocks dumped on top of these fire prisms. I feel like a Rocks right now would probably kill a couple of them if it's well placed. Do see a big shot coming in, going to knock over that Force Commander and Librarian. Still 2 looted tanks here for Morgan MLGman, still 1 tank vote for Tex, and a War Truck as well now. Did actually repurchase the War Truck that he lost earlier. So we'll see that beamy death gun onto the Mekboy. These fire prisms actually need to be careful. One should go down here. It's showing rear armor now. That lure tank might be able to finish off. Force Commander just gets popped right there. In fact, it looks like one went down to a heavy bolter on the side. You see a Rocks coming down onto the fire prisms. Look at that. One will just go down. The lure tanks actually can't chase any further forward now because of those Rocks, however. But this Dreadnought with the assault cannon is now a vulnerable target. But we do have the War Truck actually trying to chase this fire prism. Oh, this is what he means by a suicide squad. It's just a War Truck filled with double tank busters. We do actually have an Eldritch on top of it as well. And it looks like the tank busters live. I couldn't actually see them get into the vehicle. We do have all 3 fire prisms down to Fitzwilli. Fitzwilli just down to double D cannon, and Torencha only down to double CSM and Heretic, so this is going to be some very light armies from him. However, Red-Rupee still has his Land Raider Redeemer over here, so that's going to be causing quite a few problems. We do see the Frag Assault getting used onto that VP as well to knock these CSM and Grenade Launcher Heretics away. We do see a Singularity coming in for the D cannon. You can even see another Singularity on top of it as well. Oh, that is doing a lot of damage. I have the Warboss coming in here with the War Truck as well. I think the Tank Bus is going to pop out of here if they're still alive. I don't think they died to the Eldritch. In fact, they do actually have a turret up as well. In fact, another Rock's going to land on top of that Land Raider. We do see units actually got inside just in time. The Land Raider itself has taken quite a bit of damage. Tank Buster's wailing away at it. This Land Raider should go down, however. We even see a Tank Buster Barrage. It's also going to catch out any units that have to exit the vehicle as well. Looted Tank going to jump on top of this army as well. Missile launch attacks, and we do see the Orb of the Omnizar is actually going to miss the Looted Tank. It's actually going to hit these Tank Busters, but they don't rely on energy, so it doesn't matter for them. DPs 220 to 84. We still have a bit of a fight going on mid. Morgan MLGman still with these double looted tanks, and we do see this Mekboy still with this with the Beamy Death Gun. This Assault Gun Dreadnought surprisingly stayed alive for all this time. Actually got stunned here by the Stick Bombers. We have an Orbital going down as well on top of the looted tanks and on top of the army of Morgan MLGman. One of the looted tanks will drive on out of there, but the army of his is going to take quite a bit of damage. However, the looted tank still up available, though the missile launch attacks might take down the looted tank, and it will rear armor hit. We'll take that down. Techmarine himself very low, doesn't have an Orb, the Omnizar available, still on cooldown I would imagine. Slugger's coming in as well. That Force Commander is still dead on the ground, still granting that 40% damage boost, and I imagine that would have helped out quite a bit when taking out that looted tank. A Predator coming out now for a Red-Rupee. We do see that Texas still got a looted tank on the field as well. Morgan MLGman still with another looted tank, so this Predator does need to be careful. It's going to be outclassed by 2 looted tanks right about now. You see it's getting the reinforced armor plating as well, granting an extra 200 health. I would imagine that it's going to get the twin linked blast cannon as well against the vehicles on the map. You see Knobs and Sluggers fighting these Vanguards. Vanguards, I'm not sure if they stand a chance against this, especially with the Mekboy knocking them away with that shield. It looks like Vanguards might go down. Ooh, one model just jumps out of there in time. Knobs trying to chase it down. One more swing and it would go down, but it doesn't seem to get that swing off. Sure, boys will go down there for Tex. We still see that Force Commander dead on the ground, still granting a 40% damage boost to everyone in that area. Looted tank going to be matched up against a Predator, but we do have another looted tank coming in here for Morgan MLGman. Together they could team up against this Predator of Red-Rupee. However, P-Dev's going to take a shot. He's going to hit one of the looted tanks there for Morgan MLGman. This Predator could chase both these tanks down. Need the Mekboy to come in here. We do have Tank Busters coming in from the flank, however. Plasma Devs actually hit that looted tank once again. The Predator's trying to get out of the area, 200 HP. The Tank Busters could finish off. Rear arm hits will take it down. Both the looted tanks still alive. We do see that Tex is meanwhile on the left hand side as well, securing this contested VP. We do see that Torencha has got himself out another Land Raider full boss. Did lose a CSM squad later on as well. We do see that there are no vehicles left now for Blue Team after peaking at so many vehicles. Land Raider, Redeemer, and Triple Fire Prism. They're now down to no vehicles now. You see some Tactical Marines will go down here to these Knobs. This heavy melee army here from Tex doing a lot of damage, just roaming around the map close to the bases. You see Vanguard trying to chase down one of the looted tanks. Does have the Power Fist as well onto the Sergeant, but the looted tank and these Sluggers actually just sitting in range. I'm not sure why, but they will just try and burn down these Vanguard veterans. But the Vanguard veterans will die, I think. Sternguard's almost dying as well. Got Knobs coming in onto these Vanguards. We'll actually get walked away though by the Librarian. Very nice use of that ability. You don't see it too often, but it does save his Vanguard veterans. We do see Fitzwilli trying to come out with an avatar. We do see the grenade, the assault cannon barrage will miss on this Dreadnought. Another Predator coming out for Red-Rupee. You see the Warboss trying to go after that Predator, actually gets path blocks on the Techmarine there. Vanguard's going to re-jump in again. Look at the damage that heavy melee is doing to the Predator. Predator is very nice against Knobs just because you can kite them around, but is the Predator going to be doing enough damage to make a difference? You see some P-Devs trying to hit these Knobs, but it looks like he hit one model. The Vanguards might die actually now. They've all died. There is no Librarian to warp him out. Ability is on cooldown, but the Librarian's actually dead, so Dreadnought will also go down for the Bloody Nine. Bloody Nine actually going to be left with only scouts at this point by the looks of it. Dreadnought will go down. Nob's going to actually retreat away. I thought they were going to go after those scouts there, but they decide not to. We do have an Avatar out for Fitzwilli, however, but Orks are actually going to get dropped on top of it. VP's 45 to 76. In fact, the Orks is actually doing a bit more friendly fire damage than enemy damage by the looks of it, nearly getting those CSM killed for Torencha. But the Phobos hit should be able to kite this Avatar. We do see a Plasma Grenade getting thrown onto these Grenade Launcher Heretics. We'll catch out about half of the squad, but Avatar's still quite low, getting tied up, or Plague Marines getting tied up by the Avatar. But while the Avatar's trying to tie up the Plague Marines, Land Raider Phobos is just using its twin-linked last cannons either side to actually just fire away at this Avatar. Do you see the Plague Marines actually get inside the Phobos and now decide to exit the vehicle? But it's game anyway. Red team will come back into this game with 76 VPs, or not really come back into this game, it was very equal. Although things started to look a bit grim with the amount of vehicles on the map though for Red team, but Red team were able to keep their vehicles alive. Meanwhile Blue team did lose their vehicles, so overall Red team will slowly claw their way to victory.